Hello everybody, Greg here from Master Trader. For this chart of the week, I'm doing a video lesson explaining how we use moving averages. And I've got several on here as you can see, and I'm using the chart of Tesla. It's always in the news. So I've got a 20 MA, I've got a 50 MA, the green line. The purple one here is the 100 MA, and the red one here is the 200 period moving average. Now, these are common moving averages that institutions use. These are simple. They're not exponential. They're not weighted. These are the ones I've found that are the most widely followed. And the way we use them is to really understand and know what's happening in multiple time frames. It's not about the moving average being support or resistance, although they can become a self-fulfilling prophecy since they're so widely followed. You see how prices stopped right there at the 50? Now, when we look at a moving average, knowing that it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, one of the things we're going to look at is there any real price support to the left? And here at the 50s, just looking over across, there's really nothing because there was a momentum move higher. So it stalled there, but there was really nothing of significance because there was nothing to the left. And as you can see, it then broke down, and it reached the 100 period moving average. And you look over to the left, and lo and behold, they had a pretty decent pop off of that, but it was in this area of support right to the left here. Now, how do we know what's happening in different time frames? Well, the 50 MA is equal to a 10 period moving average on the weekly time frame. So if it's rising at a nice angle like this, and the 20 is above it, we know that, well, we can obviously see that the daily is up, but we know without looking at it that the weekly is up. Now, the 100 would be equal to a 20 period moving average on the weekly time frame. You can look at these as being the short-term weekly trend and an intermediate-term weekly trend if you'd like. We don't even really need to put the 100 on here if we were looking at a weekly chart, which I always do. I want to compare both of those time frames together. Now, the 100 MA is equal to a 10 period moving average on the monthly time frame. So while Tesla has rolled over and broken through its major support, these dots right here, those dots depict a bar with three higher lows to the left and right. Because it made a new high, that became major support. It broke the trend when it broke down under those levels, and then on the retest over here, sellers took advantage, and then it started its decline. So as it comes down to support, we're now watching to see, can it actually begin to create support? And it did that by this now forming a pivot. There's three higher lows to the left and right. So it's established this area right here at this level as being new support. Now, we don't know if that'll hold. It might just break down right through it. 600 being a whole number, it might stall there. We could get a W bottom even if it breaks the low. But if this continues to correct, you see this big green area here that I've got marked off that's in alignment with the 200 period moving average, could be where this is headed to. See, we don't know, and that's why this is called the hard right edge. But what we do know is that we do have support here to the left. We do know that this has created support because this has become a pivot. And if this could form a retest and reversal pattern here, we could have a short-term long trade where Tesla could come back up. We'll watch for this week. Last week was a pretty wild week in the markets, going up and down. They certainly look like they're going to go down a bit further, but we'll see how that follows through. But let me show you the weekly and the monthly charts here. And you can see how this lines up. And it's not going to be perfect where the numbers will be exactly the same. But you could see Tesla's tagged the 100 MA here. And you can see it's on the rising 20 on the weekly time frame. And the 10 MA is down here between 450 and 500-ish. And you can see that's where it is on the daily time frame. So while we like to see the patterns over here, especially at the end of a month and at the end of a week, we can follow the daily time frame and know what's happening in multiple time frames. I see that as just being an intelligent way of using moving averages, which can be very subjective if you're looking at them as actual support or resistance. And to reinforce that subjectivity, if I was to change these to exponential moving averages, they would move to different locations. And common sense says you cannot change where support and resistance is by changing the different type of moving average you're using. There's a lot of subjective information related to technical analysis, and at Master Trader, we keep it simple. And while we like to use moving averages as reference points, we know the subjectivity of them, and we use them in what I believe is a very intelligent way of understanding what's happening in multiple time frames. If you had any questions on this, email me, Greg at Master Trader. Talk soon.